Welcome to this new episode of the Tools for Thought onboarding series. In this episode, we learn what's the experience of onboarding a new Tools for Thought app. Hi, my name is Bianca Pereira and I'm a personal knowledge management coach and a researcher. And as any researcher, a knowledge creator. So for us, it's really important to know what are the tools that are available so that we can capture our ideas, grow them, and then we can create our knowledge and the outputs from our research. Today, we'll be looking at Napkin, which is an app for you to save ideas, create connections, and be creative. What you see next is a recording of an onboarding session on the Napkin that was recorded in November last year. And as part of that experience, you'll see the whole process without any cuts, okay? So you see the process of onboarding from beginning to end. So I hope you enjoy. So thanks a lot, David, for accepting having this onboarding session today. So I'm really looking forward to learn about Napkin, what it's about, how it works, what are the exciting things that you have to share. So are you ready?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for having me and for reaching out. That's a great opportunity to open up the Napkin experience for more people and to give those who are hesitant to sign up yet a better look into what actually awaits them when they create their account. First of all, like a short disclaimer, I know that you are focused on research, and Napkin is not a tool that is meant for researchers, but really for the everyday curious person who happens to read a ton of stuff, listens to a lot of podcasts, and wants one space to have all these beautiful ideas from the different sources combined. And the most important thing about Napkin is the dynamic interface. So actually Napkin gives you related nodes whenever you focus one. And I would say the second most important thing about it is that if you're lazy and you don't want to tag every single node, Napkin does that for you automatically. And so you can just send stuff in, and with each node, your swarm of thoughts grows and grows and grows. And you have like a living and dynamic system that you can work with.
Well, that's cool. And actually, that's interesting that you touch about on the research, because one thing is I would say, yes, it's became for research, but at the same time, I have a very strong belief that anyone can become a researcher if they want to really like create knowledge.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
Really want to learn more, and just what you said so far already got to my attention. So
okay, perfect. So I shared my browser window. Does that look fine for you? Would that come across across nicely in the recording? Perfect. So what you see here is the website napkin.one. And if you want to give it a spin, you can start a free trial. And what we are very aware of is that everybody who comes to us really gets happy. And that's why we're asking for some questions. For example, what is the intention? Do you want to use it for general collection and reflection of ideas? Are you more focused on writing, or is there some totally other use case you want to use it for? And also, it's much easier for us to make new users happy if they tell us what actually their goal is. And so it would be nice to know about the motivation that people come with. And so we can tailor our service and support for them to this particular use case. And for me, it is freeing up mental space. I want to close all these open loops in my head and want to have like one safe space where I'm sure that everything is connected nicely. And let me just walk through this quickly. Napkin is still in beta. It is work in progress, and we want to make sure everybody's aware of that. And let's just jump in with a test address here. All right, now I choose a password.
I just have a question. Is this form just for really for the team to be aware of who the users are, or does it influence on the experience of the app?
It doesn't influence on the experience, but it does influence two things. First of all, we want to know with which idea people actually come to us so that we can react in product development to the trends that are happening there. Now I have to unshare for a short moment. And the second thing is just that when people reach out with certain questions that they have, that we know which direction they are actually going to. Because we have a wide range of use cases in our user base. Like there are some researchers writing their physics PhD thesis and using Napkin for that. Then other people are like more in the creative field and doing songwriting and using Napkin for that case. You see totally different use cases, and it just helps to know what people are up for. So now, after the sign up, you're in the app, and you're greeted by me and my co-founder Fabian, and you can start a small intro. And one thing we figured out is that Napkin makes a lot of fun if you collected like hundreds of nodes, but until you get there, it's quite some work to invest, right? To build up this swarm of thoughts. And so to give you like a nice experience of how Napkin works, you can choose from 3 sources to import demo thoughts in this very beginning. And once you import them, it takes a moment, that like there are hundreds of thoughts behind it. A swarm is created for you. And now you have the possibility to engage with the navigation in Napkin. And the navigation is very special because what you see is one infinite room where all your thoughts are in. And everything is centered around the one in the middle. And then there are always relevant thoughts to the one in the middle coming up, depending on your screen size, how much relevant thoughts there are. But we cut it down to a maximum of 5 related nodes because more than 6 nodes on one screen is overwhelming and you can't read it anyways. Now, if you, yes, please.
Yeah, and how for example, how do you measure relevance? Is it the user that defines that, or is automatic? How does it work?
It's 2 things. It's first an overlap in tags, and secondly, how long have you not seen this node? So if there are 2 with the same overlap in tags, the one you haven't seen in the longer time would come up. So now you can browse around here and make yourself familiar with it. And you would see that whenever you click a node, it goes to the middle. And again, then around this in the middle, relevant thoughts are popping up. And while we are in the navigation right now, you can also say, show me everything around the tag markets. And then you would start sort of a playlist of these thoughts, and you can walk through them with the arrows. And as soon as you're done, you can start exploring freely again. But to proceed with the tour, the next one would be that you learn how to actually add a tag to a node. And this is easy. Like I'm personally using it with only keyboard commands, but in order to make it more visual, let's just use the mouse here. You add a tag, and now I would just type test and add that. And now I'm done with this short lesson and proceed to actually learn how the inbox works. And the thing that is really highly valued about Napkin is that it's super easy to send stuff in. And if you don't want to install either the iOS app or the Chrome extension, of course, you can skip it. But let's walk through here. It is, let's do it with the Chrome extension. Here's like a help document to actually find everything you need. Going to the Chrome Web Store, adding this, add the extension, and now it's popping up here. And then it hides again, which is not cool. That's why I pin it to the top. And now I have to tell the extension which account should be connected. I just press the button up here right now. And then I am looking up the email address that I just signed in with. One short second. So you have a great memory. You don't need a note-taking app at all, right?
I definitely need. My memory is not that good.
Okay, so now I will get an email. Of course, not to this address. I have to look that up. One second. But normally you would have that in your inbox. If it's not in your inbox, it's normally in your spam folder. Sorry for that. Happens from time to time. Now I retrieve the code and I just paste that in here. And now this thing is set up. And now I can clip anything on the web, any text fragment on the web, and send it to Napkin. Let's just open an article, and I am just taking anything right now. I highlight that, I do a right click, I go to send to Napkin, and now I'm just returning to the application, closing this help document. And now I see already that my inbox icon up here in the left is activated. And now I'm opening it, and that works the same way as if I would jump in this tech playlist. My inbox is also a playlist, and I see the text fragment that I just clipped, and I see where it comes from. I have the exact source link right here. And I already see tags. That's because Napkin thinks about the topics that are behind your notes that you're sending in. And in this case, it came up with procrastination, boredom, and less, whatever less is. So these are only suggestions, and the application or the logic behind the suggestions get better and better the more you work with the system. It's a personalized AI, and it learns how you tick and how you tag certain things. And that's why I'm saying, okay, this is not meaningful to me. I remove that right now. And maybe I want to add another tag. And let's say I want to add the tag NAS Labs, which is the source where I got it from. And then I'm done. And now I can proceed with the tour and remove all those thoughts that are not mine. And then I'm back at the beginning and have only like the thought that I just sent in, and I'm now ready to go. That's pretty much it.
Is there any way, for example, for me to create a new note directly inside a Napkin, or is it more through clipping, for example?
It is, of course, possible to do that directly here. You can press the space bar or you hit this button, and then if I just save that and don't add a tag right now, Napkin will like give me a moment, wait if I add a tag manually. If I don't do that, you see the spinning wheel, and it automatically starts to think about what's behind it. And if there was a larger data set than with 2 nodes, and there was something either related to time management or scheduling or deadline, this would be now automatically resurfaced so that I have a connection to my previous made node.
Okay, that's really interesting, because as you were showing, I was thinking the possible use case, like in case of research itself. Because one thing, like I like really to do the separation between what other people wrote and what are our thoughts, even our thoughts about what other people wrote, right? So
yes.
I really find it interesting, let's say, what other people write, they're kind of like, they're almost like data, or even if you have some data that you want to analyze and see how similar things are, analyze what notes, what pieces are similar to each other. So I found that interesting, because then you always resurface things based on some sort of context, you know, although the context, like the algorithm is provided the context. And you can still give some, what I understood is some level of similarity in terms of tags, right? Exactly.
And important to know is these tags are not only extracted keywords. It's really like on an abstractive level, overarching concepts. So Now I clipped some random thoughts from this, some random ideas from this article, and I see that now I already have 3 notes, which are all about procrastination according to Napkin, and hence I see them in the middle. And many people use it really just for contemplation. They have this kind of routine that in the morning they process their inbox, and this has many positive effects. First of all, you reinforce your memory by reading the stuff again that you read the day before. Secondly, when you are walking through your inbox, you always see related notes and have interesting connections that give you new perspectives on the thing that you clipped yesterday. And also, a use case that is widely used is that people use it for some sort of mindset affirmation, like motivating quotes or statements about how they want to change their habits and their way of life. They tag that just with I'm pressing T now to opening the tag area, type in daily, I'm pressing Command Enter. Oops, that didn't work out because I missed the enter, and now Command Enter. So people can, you can create sort of playlists of these ideas, and you can resurface them then over the search, which is on the left side. You could then look for everything around the tag daily. And what you could also do is use this button to resurface playlists. So for example, Napkin now tells me there are 2 thoughts in my database that are not connected to any other node. So either they have no tags or they have a tag that only occurs once. So this is really helpful for grooming your data set, going through them, looking for new connections. You could do that manually, or if you want to give the AI a second run, then say Napkin, do your magic, press the magic wand. And in this case, it's a pretty empty account. There are no more interesting tags that Napkin would come up with right now. But I could easily enter something right now. And last but not least, there are many people who use Napkin to generate original ideas for their writing or their podcast scripts. And in order to do that, you want to have a linear order of all those thoughts again. And this is really easy. While browsing in your data set, whenever something is interesting for you, you have little collections on the right side here. And you can open as many as you want. We call them stacks. And when you have something like that, in this node card methodology, some people talk about having projects on the slow cooker, because you have the place there, and whenever you come across something without searching hard for it, but it just strikes you that could be helpful for this particular project decision you have to make, you just drop it there. And just to demo that, I dropped three things there. You can rearrange them in their order, bring them in a linear way. You can open new sections, for example, an introduction, and then a discussion, and then a conclusion. And you can drag stuff around here. And whenever you're ready and think, okay, my outline, my skeleton or my scaffolding for the next article is in a good shape, you press the button up here for copying everything in a linear order to your clipboard. And then you can go to any text editor you like, for example, Google Docs, and just simply paste stuff there. And then you have everything, including the source links and the sections in a linear order. And you don't start writing your article with a blank page, but full of ideas that you just have to connect them.
And it comes as Markdown, right? As I noticed there.
Yes, exactly.
Is it
exactly.
Markdown? Okay. And I want to ask, for example, let's suppose I have clipped many things and I want to, let's say, use that as a point for reflection. I want to now, okay, I highlighted some from a paper. Now I want to see what I understand from that and things like that. And after having processed, let's say I want to archive. I don't want this to appear if I'm searching for new ideas, for example. Is there any way, for example, where I can see the notes, but say I don't want to see some notes, for example. I can filter some notes out.
So if so you can like filtering is not in place right now, but of course you can search for certain things, and that would be working in full text, but also just with the text. Like if I mark that, I would have everything around thinking. It's only one in this particular case, but in general, I would have everything with this tag now here in a linear order, and then could always jump there directly with one click. But we don't have a filter in the swarm in place right now. And regarding entering like additional nodes, this is something you can either do just a new node and have the same text applied in order to make sure that it will come up in the right moment. Or if you want to add some nodes within a stack, for example, this is the outline for your next article, and you open a new node here, which is then your own, and you would just make a little marker for yourself that you want to add a real life example here. And this would then also occur in the export that you take to your text editor.
Okay, that's good. And I just had a question and went out of my mind now. Okay, do you plan to have other ways, for example, let's say I see the connection between two things, but their text itself is not connected, and maybe adding a tag will not really represent what is in that. Do you plan to have other ways to connecting the cards, or this is actually the core of the
both. So first of all, this is the core, and I'm getting back to my disclaimer from the beginning. It is not mainly for research where you want to have nodes and edges and values on the edges and really build up a knowledge graph. It is much more for having inspiring moments and actually like remembering the stuff that you read and have it in place when you actually need it. If you like, we experimented of course with it, and there's like still kind of a hidden feature, which would be if I'm pressing T to open this tag and then just start typing text from the targeted card, which is in the top right now. It starts with "Who proudly." I see a thumbnail coming up. If I click that, then I have a bidirectional link. You see this one popped up here, and this is now connected to this node, and this is connected to that. But this is sort of a legacy feature, which is a residue from a former experiment, and we have much better ideas in the pipeline to have a nice solution for this particular use case.
Okay, so I would like to thanks a lot, David, for showing Napkin around. I think that is really interesting. And as you say, I think it's important to keep in mind if you want to resurface ideas, resurface things that are kind of in there in context, that's the main strength of the app. Not try to force sometimes like this, like, oh no, we need to link because I bring a lot of this mindset, or no, we need to use it in this way. It's like, no, you need to really take advantage of the strength of the app itself. So I think that's an important thing to always remember. So how can anyone learn more about Napkin?
Yes, please visit napkin.one, and there you'll find anything. There are lots of how-to guides and FAQs. And of course, we're always happy if people reach out directly with their questions. Our mail is here, our Twitter is there. And if you're in the app and you're stuck in any way, just press in the top left, the help section. You will find a lot of help articles here, or you can directly send us a message, and we are doing our best to answer as soon as we can.
Well, again, thanks a lot, David. I'm really looking forward to test Napkin really soon. And so thanks for for having this onboarding session with me.
Thank you very much, Bianca. It was a pleasure.
And talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
And this was the experience of onboarding the Napkin app. So if you like these types of videos to learn about new tools for thought, so please make sure that you check my playlist on the Tools for Thought series. So I hope to see you soon in the next video, and until then, take care.